conversation with Dr. Pai on multiple issues. If I can ask you, say, we have seen in the recent World Cup, the Pakistan captain Bisma Maroof coming out of within months of childbirth, she came and became this symbol of empowerment, right? And great visuals for all of us. Such a fantastic all of us felt empowered, felt so happy seeing her.
Yes.
So from that standpoint, give me a sense that young athletes, and these people are what, 23, 24, 25,
they're all very young.
They're all young people. So give me a sense of that, man. The correlation between motherhood and sport. And how do you see that aspect? Because I think, again, going forward for aspiring athletes to listen to you would be important.
Yes. The whole scenario has changed. One of the first things a pregnant woman, when she comes to me, maybe very early in pregnancy, first time she comes to me with a pregnancy, one of the important questions everyone asks is, can I exercise? Which is such a positive thing. Earlier, it was like the moment they were pregnant, everything would change. They'd eat for two, they'd be resting most of the time. So all that has changed. The nutrition has changed. They're so conscious of it. Most of them ask me for a recommendation for a dietitian, and the whole exercise approach has changed. So it's very simple. What I tell them is, if you're a person who's been regularly exercising, continue to do what you've always been doing, because you are, you're confident, you know what works for your body. Continue to do it in almost all circumstances. Many people, unfortunately, will want to exercise for the first time when they're pregnant. In their life, they've never exercised. When they become pregnant, they want to exercise. In which case, then it has to be done under supervision. Carefully, make sure you warm up, you cool down, you gradually build up your exercise, ability, work in a comfortable temperature, not too much high impact stuff. So if, for example, if you're an athlete, you can continue to a slightly lesser level, but you can continue to major part of your pregnancy, you can continue to train. Obviously, if you're heavy weightlifting or you're into, like hockey or basketball, or where you can have collisions, you want to football, you want to avoid those collision sports. You want to avoid anything where they're going to lie down on the back and lift weights, because then, when you lie on your back, there can be a reduction in blood flow to the baby. So obviously modifications happen in pregnancy, but you can continue quite a lot to work out through your...
And what about para-athletes, ma'am? Athletes with disability? Because it's very, very important at the moment. I mean, India did so well at the Paralympics.
Yes.
What about athletes with disability?
Yes. So I think let's put it this way. So those who are fit and healthy and have always exercised can continue to do so. If, however, your pregnancy, for example, has a problem, for example, you develop high blood pressure, you have a multiple pregnancy, twin pregnancy, or you bleed at some point during a pregnancy, or you have growth restricted baby, or, one of this placenta previa. If you have complications and problems, then obviously you need to really slow down and maybe even take rest during a pregnancy. And probably the same applies to our patient, our women who have some disability. But these women, these athletic women, these Paralympics have overcome that disability, and they have chosen a sport where, despite the disability, they are able to function to the best of their capacity. And I think that applies. So, for example, if a lady is on a wheelchair, for example, and she's pregnant, she can definitely continue to do her upper body activities, which she was doing pre-pregnancy, quite safely.
Yes.
And well, yeah. And I would recommend water sports, that's very good, like water-based exercises, because it first of all supports you, it keeps your temperature neutral, and there's not very high impact. It reduces edema, it reduces fatigue, your swelling, water retention. All these things improve if you have a good water environment to do your little bit of exercise in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How difficult has it been for you? And you are also a mentor to the girls. So talk to me about bubble life and mental health.
Well, bubbles is the biggest challenge we face. And honestly speaking, 2019, when COVID outbreaks happened, we never thought about it, that we are able to play cricket after 6 months. So when we started in a bubbles, initially we thought, it's just a bubbles, nothing like it, we can manage. But if you're playing for 6 months at one stage, that means you're going bubbles to another bubbles. That means you're cut off your lifestyle from others. You are just few people each and every day. You are facing those people only in the morning, evening, night, on the ground itself. And you can't eat food from outside all the time. So whatever resource they have, you have to adjust with that, because it's a tough, it's not easy. Don't forget that with bubbles there is a quarantine period also there, 10 days. Some countries are 14 days, in India 6 days, 5 days. So it's quite challenging staying in those room. You're not getting outside fresh air, you're always in a air con. It's quite tough, quite challenging. Yeah, that is a things, as a players you need to build your character. That is a time your team start getting bond well. That is a time we know each other better than than previous time, because previous time, yes, we spend a lot of time in dressing room, but of the time also you are spending in either in the common room or something like that. That's team bonding also happened, but at the same time is mental fatigue is always there in a bubble.